Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you once more for joining us. All right, so as most of you, if you happen to recall, I mentioned last week that I was going to be going out of town. I did. One of my BFFs up in Salt Lake City had a kid recently, so I wanted to be the first one to actually see it of all the friends. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the opportunity to go and visit him because they gave him paternity leave and is running out. So he's like, dude, I got plenty of time to stay because I'm at the house. Drive up here. I was like, all right, cool. And it's like, oh wait, this weekend is the Last Crescendo card. Fuck. Like, damn it, I gotta priorities, right? So I had to drive down there. So we're not recording this show on the normal Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. We're doing it, but rather because on top of that, I drove back home Monday, so I got home all like jet lagged, not jet lagged, but like all sluggish and stuff from the road. Your hands are still vibrating from like holding the steering wheel. So we decided to do it Tuesday evening. So thank you very much for your patience, of course, more first and foremost, because we did it a little bit later than we normally do it. But we're here now, and we're going to be talking about the card in great detail. We're going to go over like the primary fights of the pay-per-view card because last week when I was going over some of the odds, I kind of skipped over a couple of fights that weren't on that sheet, specifically. The Zhang fight, and then of course also Buatsi and Callum Smith, which turned out to be pretty significant fights, and so this is the reason I want to include them here. So we'll definitely talk about those, and of course the rest of the card, what our thoughts were on the pay-per-view overall, and then of course also the decisions, and on top of that, the last minute substitutions, which there were a couple. I swear that fucking fight card was falling apart at the 11th hour, but they managed to keep it together. In addition to that, we're going to take a look at next week's card, next week's pay-per-view, $80 fucking PBC pay-per-view with Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. But before we get into all damn details, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Miguel? Glad you made it home, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Um, ah, boring weekend. Sat at the house. The boxing card took up my Saturday. I don't know how I feel about the Saturday afternoon pay-per-view cards, Miguel. It's cool every once in a while, right? You had to sacrifice. Remember back in the day, you had to sacrifice a Saturday morning here and there for HBO. They did it every once in a while. Don't know if I want this to become the new thing. I'm a family man. Most of the time I take my kids out in the morning to late afternoon, get back, eat dinner, watch a movie, get ready for bed, right? On a Saturday it'd be get back, eat dinner, watch boxing. Come on now. Can't beat that as a family guy. Now I know all you single guys, you're like, screw you, what the fuck's this old timer talking about? Fucking going to the bar immediately after, but nah, man, I don't know. So it kind of took up my whole Saturday. So just stood around the house basically this weekend. Everything stood home. Um, liked the card. It was a good card. Wasn't the best. I didn't think it was the best going in. We have some new stars though. We do have some new stars. I do like that. So he has potential, His Excellency, Turkey Ali Sheik. I like where he's headed. It was a great card. There was so many great fights. Junior wasn't really even interested in the main event.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that card was stacked. I mean,
it was stacked
because of the substitutions. Maybe perhaps it wasn't the greatest the way they said it was going to be. But as you mentioned, there were stars created. On that note of the early pay-per-view cards or the early cards, that is a bit of a weird one because if and for me specifically, I'm one of the single guys you're talking about. No, I can just get up early if I can watch the fights, right? And I am also a fan of the UFC, so I'll watch the UFC card later that evening. Sometimes that works out that way, and I'm like, cool, this is great. Sometimes it doesn't. When there isn't anything to do later that evening, it's like, well, there goes my friggin' morning. There's my afternoon. I'm like, well, nothing else to do today. I'm so used to Saturday nights watching fights. It's cool when there is something else scheduled, and for the most part there is, but the times that there aren't, and I was telling you this before we started recording, I remember watching Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua, that the rematch, I mean, and that was early in the morning, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, I want to order pizza, but I gotta, like, I don't know, Uber Eats some fucking breakfast burritos because it's in the morning, So I'm like, shit, this is
Yes.
weird. This is hella weird.
I
But
mean,
you know, what?
you have to think that he's killing a big pay-per-view closed circuit market by doing that. Now look, you guys, I don't know how long he's going to do this for, but a few of his fights have been on the afternoon
Hmm.
time slot. What bar is going to be showing this fight at 3 in the
Right.
afternoon, right? What
Hmm.
casino is going to, maybe a casino gets on board and goes, hey, we'll do a closed circuit venue, maybe, but not too many people want to be hanging out at the casino at 3 in the afternoon. The fucking thing starts at what, 11? I missed the first fight. Not going to even lie. The Smith Bautista, is that how you say his name?
Buatsi.
Oh, shit. I got that
Buatsi.
totally wrong. Buatsi.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I totally missed that fight.
Yeah.
I'm just, I didn't know what time the main card started. I thought I got on early enough and I had already missed the first fight. So yeah, he's cutting out a big market. It's gonna hurt the sales, man. There's a lot of wives out there that don't give a flying fuck about how stacked a card is when it's Timmy's birthday
Yeah.
or little Juanitos or, my
Yeah.
tios or my
And you
nephews
got
or,
to
you
take
know
a
what I'm
little
saying,
Scott to
bro?
fucking, practice, to like softball practice or some shit. It's like, yeah, you got to take them early in the morning or afternoon or whatever's, so and so's soccer game is in the evening or in the afternoon. I mean, yeah, it's like, babe, but this card is hella stacked. It's the best card ever. I don't give a fuck. Go pick up your kid. Like,
Go, yeah. We're going to the birthday. We're going
mhm,
to this. I mean, I guess that's where your telephone comes in handy now that, you can stream
mhm.
the zone most likely on your phone that you have, but who really wants to watch the greatest card ever on their telephone at
Yeah.
that point too, then, right?
And you're busy doing stuff. You're doing whatever it is you're doing with the kids, with the fam. You're not gonna be like with your fucking phone, like, oh yeah, yeah, great, yeah, shoot the next basket over here watching the shit, right?
Oh, you'll definitely get some photos of Andrew doing that in the corner.
That's what I'm saying. I
Fuck
mean,
out of here. You're gonna make me miss that? I'm tuning out. I'm tuning
you're like pretending to take pictures and actually watching the fight on the phone. Going, Junior. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep going. Uh, that's one of those weird
Hey,
things.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start my own little party. All the men are gonna be all over in the corner. What are they doing? Oh, they're watching a fight with Andrew. That fucker brought the fight.
Yeah, it's like, don't invite him next time. Don't
We're
fucking invite
doing cake. Is he smoking weed now too? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
him. It's like, is he drinking now? God damn
It's
it.
he's only 5. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like, you were supposed to bring Gatorade to the soccer game. Oh, I brought some Modelo's. Sorry. The fight's on, guys. I brought some fucking Coronas. But yeah, that's definitely a weird thing, And to some degree, I'm not even sure if Turkey gives a shit. Honestly, I think he's like, you
I
know what?
know.
Bring in tourism to Saudi Arabia. We're gonna have the cards here. What time it airs in the United States, I can give two rats ass, and that really is cutting a big market.
That's kind of what he's been saying this whole time so far, right? It's what Riyadh wants, right? Anything can happen in Riyadh. I would like someone to ask him that question though, because honestly, if he got in because of the pay-per-view numbers of one Floyd Mayweather or Oscar De La Hoya or Mike Tyson, I can guarantee you none of these men fought at fucking 3 in the afternoon on a Saturday. So
I,
if you want the $1 million payouts and the five, what did Floyd's highest pay-per-view? 5 million or 4 million? Him and Manny. What
pay-per-view
was?
buys.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh shit! I think it was 4.5.
yeah.
I
four
want to say.
million. We'll just say four. Four
Mm,
million. If you want those 4 million buys, you know, you might have to follow the
mhm.
blueprint. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to see what the numbers are, but I do see conflict in the future with spouses.
Mhm. Right. And here's the thing, like, is there, and I mean, I'm sure there's something that they can think about. We talked about this before. There really isn't a nightlife in Saudi Arabia, right? There isn't like
No.
clubbing necessarily, drinking. So why can't they do the shows like early in the morning the next day or whatever the fuck, however many hours they are, so we can get it in the evening over here and fucking party?
It's probably against the law to be out at night. I don't fucking know.
uh,
they're,
well, I mean,
they're
whether
all, how
there's,
dare you, you devil? The
yeah,
moon
yeah,
is out.
the curfew. You're at the fucking curfew. No, but I mean, there's not like they're going to be clubbing necessarily. I'm thinking because it's happened before. There are times where they've had shows in Australia or something like that, like at Sunday morning or something. So it shows up Saturday evening for us over here. I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's not like they're going to be missing out on fucking, people partying and drinking because they're not going to do that either. They'll be missing out over here if they do, the evening shows over there because I'm assuming the fights are in the evening over there, and that's why we get them so
Of
early over here.
course.
So
Of
so
course.
yeah, I mean, I would it would make sense if they do it maybe in the morning, so we get it in the evening, and they can kind of double dip. They still get the fight, here in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it may not be in the evening, but it'll be in the morning, whatever. But they're having it there. They still get tourism there, and then they still get our dollars because we're watching it in the evening over here. I would hope that would be the case at least. But yeah, if I ever see Turkey, I'll make sure to bring that to his attention. But yeah, I trust me, I've been there before. Trust me, with having to it's like, oh, hold on. I mean, just this weekend, driving up to Utah Saturday morning, it's like, the fights are on. I sure as hell can't be pulling that shit up on my phone. I mean, I'm sure I can, but shouldn't while I'm going across towns and states and stuff while I'm in my truck. Which, by the way, I still wouldn't be able to because I live with my folks and my dad is streaming it on. Thank you to
Yeah.
Zone for not allowing us to stream the pay-per-view on two different devices. Still gotta fix that, but nonetheless, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the pay-per-view card of the Last Crescendo that was supposed to have been um, two different. Well, I should say we'll get to that in momentarily. We'll start with
No, that's a
the.
good start though.
Is it?
That's a
We
good.
start.
It is because it changed.
Yeah,
It
it
changed.
does.
Yeah, it changed to Saturday. What went from potentially being a great card was like a saved at the last hour kind of deal.
Mhm. Yeah, it stayed together. So to their credit, the fights still happened with different opponents, but it still happened. Sometimes when they can't find an opponent or a worthy enough opponent in time, they just scrap the fight altogether. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But let's go ahead and start with the first substitution. One Floyd Schofield, who apparently got sick somehow, got ill somehow. You can go into the stories and
Poisoned.
read poisoned. Yeah, according to that, either their food or, I mean, if you hear his dad say the masseuse or something. But at the end of the day, basically, he's out. Schofield, I'm saying. And if you go back to some of the earlier videos of Shakur himself even called it and said, I'll be surprised if he even makes it to the fight. I think he's going to pull out before then. Well, if anything that Floyd's dad is saying is true, well, obviously Shakur called it because he probably caused it for all we fucking know, right? But we don't know that. It's all speculation at this point. But they ended up bringing in a substitution, and let me go ahead and make sure I get this young man's name right because he was paid handsomely for this fight. One Josh Padley, who I believe was undefeated leading up to that. So, Andrew, before we get into any other fights of the card, we're going to start off with this Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Schofield slash Josh Padley fight. What was your first impression when you heard that Schofield had dropped out?
Oh, well, I was surprised before I started hearing all the allegations, I guess you would say, of Shakur kind of predicting that this young man was going to do this. I don't know how he was able to predict that, but good call on his part that this guy was going to walk from the biggest payday of his career. Um,
And let me go ahead and real quick interrupt one of the posts that I saw online from Schofield. It said, or actually it was Pops. It says, they poisoned my son. Is this Snack Work? Snack, if you guys are familiar, is that brand of supplements owned by Victor Conti. So it says, is this Snack Work? Shakur massage lady wiped a cream on my son.
yeah, it's kind of weird that that's kind of fallen out of the news. I don't know if that was Turkey Ali Sheik doing that, telling people to leave that story alone. But you think that'd be bigger news today on why the father would throw out those allegations against Shakur's team. Was there an incident where someone on Shakur's team wiped a cream-like substance on Schofield? I mean, if that happened, huge. That's huge. Like,
And what could that be? What I mean, according to the point where he's like, I gotta drop out of the fight. That
oh,
somebody
poison,
like,
bro. I mean, they're saying poison is poison. I don't know what poison, but I mean, the dad basically said, "Did they poison my son?" And then said they wiped a cream on him. But the story just goes away.
mm,
There's no one out there that can make a phone call or anything to see where this story was developed from. Was there an incident in Saudi Arabia where, because I mean, man, crazy. I mean, Miguel, what would you do if your son got touched by the opposing team's masseuse? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did I wipe that cream on your chest? My bad. And then he gets sick. Shit, it's gonna be hard to get me off Saudi Arabia without a fucking, you know what I mean?
yeah, without a full investigation.
Yeah, without talking to His Excellency, I would want. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I would have His Excellency's doctors
Mm.
look at my son, right? Um, man, look, the picture in the hospital looked kind of fake. I gotta say that. What's
It looked
that?
a little.
Hey, what's that movie? Those movies that are online, Tubi? Is that what they're called? Tubi movies?
Yeah, that's the app. Yeah, or like
Is that the
X-rated
app?
version.
Or everyone's
Yeah,
always clowning those movies, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that photo sure did look like one of those.
It's like the old iPod, like fucking like earbuds, like wrapped around this, just plugged into his fucking nose and shit. It's like, my son has fallen ill. Uh, yeah, that
Then
did look a little staged.
yeah, the digging your face into the pillow like so no one could see. I mean, I don't know. It was just like and then they're like, oh, he was released today. I was like, wait a minute. he was, he was
Yeah,
released today, huh? The doctor checked on him or what? He put on a gown. He was waiting for the doctor to like, get in bed, put those things on. Hurry up, the doctor's
yeah,
coming. Yeah, doc, we don't know. He think he has a cold.
yeah.
Doctor's all, why you say that? Oh, he has sniffles. Can we go now?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
already got the photo we needed.
Right. We got the second the fucking doctor left is like, and go. Like, right, brother. They're gonna walk into the doctor's office and be like, can we have a gown? Like, oh, you don't need one, sir. Like, can we just have one, please? Oh, okay, here you go.
Can
Um,
we say that he definitely wasn't poisoned if they released him under 24 hours? Could you imagine someone walking into the hospital being like, I'm poisoned? Doctor going, yeah, I just don't see it. Why don't you go home? Call me in the morning.
right, exactly. It's like, is that a broken nail on your finger? I think that's what it is, young man. I think you weren't poisoned. But this is one of the other posts that I saw online, right? From his pops again. I believe it says here, as a parent, I am overwhelmed. People can be cruel and evil. And mind you, this is posted over the video of him recording his son, what seems to be in an unconscious state on the hospital bed. Can be cruel and evil. It says the comeback will be major. All right. No one duck a fight with Mr. Pillow Hands. So he's saying like, no, we're not trying to duck a fight with Mr. Pillow Hands. Talking about Shakur. It says thank you to His Excellency. Okay, for the great hospitality. Hopefully in the future we can talk. Right now the focus is on my son. All prayers, warriors, send prayers, please. So he's thanking His Excellency and his people for the hospitality and the attention that they were giving to his son, and says hopefully in the future we can talk. Now what exactly does that mean? Does that mean like, hey, hopefully you give my son another crack, another chance at a card, a pay-per-view card? Or does that mean we have to talk about what's going on here? Because it doesn't seem too urgent. Like you said earlier, if something like that happened to your son, you'd be like, no, we need to know exactly what the fuck happened right now and not in the future, kind of type of thing.
We're
So yeah.
talking about $1 million, Miguel.
Hmm.
You might have found me in Shakur's room. Now, I don't know what I would have been able to do, but I might enter that room on $1 million, bro. We might have a fucking problem, right?
Yeah. If nothing else, it's like, well, I don't know what I can do to you, but I can sure as hell make sure you don't fight tonight, motherfucker. If we're not fighting
Nobody's fighting. That's
if my son ain't fighting, ain't nobody fucking fighting. You ain't stepping in the ring tonight. So yeah,
I,
that was
hey, we know we can get the massage guy or whoever the fuck the cream dude. We know we got him.
right. This is the, I don't know. It just seems like the assassination of JFK. And it's like, who was that guy standing over there in the corner? Who was this motherfucker? Who got this video of the? It became one of the. It was becoming one of those things, but it literally just went away overnight. People just
Yes.
stopped talking about it, and I mean, and then this odd kind of post from Floyd himself after he's gotten better. He says, "We will be a free agent in a couple more months." Okay. Right, whatever the hell that means. I mean,
I know.
uh,
It's
now,
just so.
and mind you, he's with Oscar right now. He's, if I'm not mistaken, he's with Golden Boy. So, does that mean that he's got beef with him now, or there's like some shit under the table at the moment that isn't exposed, things that we don't know about yet? Because from him going, from first of all, we didn't think he belonged in there to begin with. We thought he was a little bit too quick for him to fight somebody the caliber of Shakur, but it ended up being signed or whatever, and then somehow ended up bailing, right? So I don't know. This is weird. The fact that he's saying that he's going to be a free agent in a couple of months sounds like he has a little bit of beef with Oscar.
Well, yeah, clearly that probably he was only going to get 25,000 of that $1 million, and
Mm-hmm.
they were like, "Fuck that, we're walking." Right? That's that. With that post, with him posting that online, it makes you think there was probably a money dispute over the $1 million payday, and they decided to walk instead of honoring the contract that they signed. Because unfortunately, there's this thing called a contract, and when you sign it, it doesn't matter if your market goes through the roof. You have to honor the contract that you signed. It's Oscar De La Hoya's job to market you. It's his job to get you to become a household name. If that happens before you are able to cash in, that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we look at that as a good thing. The promoter gets a little extra money in his pocket, and guess what happens on the next time you make a contract with them? They're going to be in love with you, right? You made them money. Now they know they got to pay you. The future looks bright. You're undefeated. La da la da la. Right? And for some
Mm-hmm.
reason in boxing, these knuckleheads, they get mad when their promoter makes money on them. They're like, why don't you make some money?
Yeah, I'm
That's
the
his
one in there
fucking
fighting.
yeah, that's his fucking job.
Yeah,
That's why he gave you all that money when you were flat fucking broke
yeah.
and a
That's why
nobody.
you're fighting on TV.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so hard for some of these guys to get that. And I still haven't heard of the father son duo that went up, ventured off on their own and became successful. I'm sorry. Haney and them, they got 1 year. They got 1 year where they could be like, look, we were undisputed and he was fucking trainer of the year. Right now, their current state is not that looked upon highly in boxing, right? His son has turned into a crybaby ass Ryan Garcia fucking. I don't want to go any lower, but he's Ryan Garcia's bitch right now, right? And the dad is just some knucklehead that's fucking. He's not the trainer of the year or manager of the year or whatever he got 2 years ago. So he's not that guy anymore. So they were successful for about a year, and now they can't even get a fucking fighter. Now that obviously we have a savior in His Excellency, but before that he was losing purse bids to Sandy Martin. All
Mm-hmm.
right, come on now, let's go. Be real. So yeah, I don't know where Schofield and his dad go from here. I don't know why the conversation about money came out. If anything, he should have left it as poison. But Miguel, I got to be honest.
Mm.
With them walking away on $1 million fight on a title shot, the fans don't deserve the real reason. Like, I mean, if he's sick, wouldn't you, we're not asking if it's cancer. We're not asking, and God forbid. But I'm saying if it's something that serious, yeah, keep that as personal. But if he got the flu, if he got food poisoning, if he had, whatever it is, why can't they come out and go, hey, look, this is what it turned out to be. It wasn't poisoning, but that day, Saturday, he had drank some water out of a fucking faucet. I told him not to do it. He did it, got sick. Or bro, listen, we're going to have another guy that exited this fight card. And I want to say someone fought sick that night. Did you hear about that?
No.
On one of the undercards, there
Mhm.
was someone complaining about possibly being sick that morning getting in. So I don't know what's going on over there in Rehab, what these guys are doing. These are all growing pains, right? Everyone's got, it's a new environment, we're adapting to everything. So if it's food, if it's the water, this is what's going to has to get figured out on why these guys pulled up sick on this one. And this is not really the first card to happen in Rehab, but this was a pretty significant card. They were kind of pumping this one up big time. To have three guys, and I know the name will come to me on who DAZN was saying was potentially battling an illness during the fight. It might have been Madrimov, to be honest with you, bro.
Mhm.
It might have been the Ortiz. It might have been Madrimov himself that they wanted to say he was complaining about maybe being under the weather that morning. So just hear me out that there was three guys potentially sick on this card. They got to figure that out. But on Schofield, a lot of question marks. And let me tell you this: he's very lucky. Whatchamacallit pulled out. Who pulled out in the heavyweight fight? Zhang and
Oh, no. On the heavyweight
Dubois.
fight, Dubois,
Dubois.
yeah, Dubois and Joseph Parker. Well, both Parker
Oh,
fought him.
Parker. There you go. Excuse me,
Yeah.
Parker. He's very lucky that that happened. Because if that doesn't happen, Miguel, it looks pretty bad on Schofield's part. Man, like I said, the picture looked very staged,
Mhm.
and the fact that everyone thought they were too green, right?
Mhm.
To
Mhm.
come in there and almost look like nerves got the best of you, you were definitely too green for this
Mhm.
position.
Yeah, the only thing that was left on that picture was to like draw X's on his eyes and shit to make it look all fucking, like cartoonish and shit, because that's how staged the picture looked. But in his place comes one Josh Padley, who up to that point was undefeated. He was outclassed, right? We can actually talk about the fight now. He was completely outclassed. He isn't on Shakur Stevenson's level. Shakur was able to do whatever he could. There were some times where Padley would throw a combination and it would kind of sort of semi land, and Padley's corner would be like rooting him on, like, yeah, yeah, like that. And then Shakur would turn to be like, what the fuck? What? That's how outclassed Josh Padley
Yeah.
was, to the point where even Shakur after the fight was like hearing the boos from the crowd and was totally eating it up, right? But it took him, was it 8-9 rounds to do it? I think because of this substitution, this last minute substitution, Shakur's back was a little up against the wall. Like, if you're gonna beat this dude, if you're gonna fight this dude, his last minute replacement, you probably need to whoop his ass. Like, look good doing it. This guy's a last minute replacement who most likely isn't on your level, and not go 12 full rounds the way we know Shakur does. He did it. He went ahead and took the dude out. What did you think of his performance against a last minute replacement?
I thought it was a great performance. Look, he showed us offense that we haven't seen too much from him. He definitely picked up the punch output, right? He was trying. He was gunning for a knockout, and he
Mhm.
got a knockout, but it costed him. It costed him potentially another hand injury, as everyone's
Oh
seen.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Mhm,
was
mhm.
grimacing during taking off the glove.
Did you see what
He
it was?
kept.
Like, what punch was it? I know I would see him grimace after certain punches, but I'm like, damn, I'm like trying to rewind it to see if I saw something earlier, but I don't remember seeing which punch did it.
No, I don't remember the punch. I just remember DAZN. DAZN actually is the one that brought it to my
Mm.
attention that he kept making the face after he was landing the combinations. Look, we've seen the photos of his hands. They're scarred
Mhm.
up pretty bad. Knuckles got 1 inch scars on them. So he's had surgery most likely already on his hands. He's in there trying to gun for a knockout, knowing damn well he's not supposed to be punching a guy's human skull that many times with those fragile hands. What ends up happening? He gets his hand fucking hurt. Was it worth it, Shakur? If it does potentially hold him out for an extended period of time, or people, he has to now fight with an injured hand because if the surgery is going to keep him out too long, can't fucking do that either, right? You got to keep this ball rolling. So then these guys
Mhm.
fight hurt. Was it worth it? I don't think so. I think just winning a fight is worth it, man. Who cares if you can't? Something. One thing about American fight fans, they're real wish-washy on some of these
Yeah,
cats, man.
very fickle, very fickle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you get the Terrence Crawford, you're on the wrong side of the street. You got half the people screaming that to him. Like that was a legit excuse for some of these boxing, especially you PBC guys. That was a legit excuse for you at one point. Andre Ward, oh, son of God, oh, I can't back that. This son of God, it's Halloween. Dude hasn't lost in fucking 2 decades. But you're mad because his name's SOG. Or he doesn't wear a gold chain and then slap a girl or exit a club with a bunch of rap stars. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird how they can pick and choose their guys they cover. Now, Shakur, right after the fight, posts of guys just asleep. Everyone's asleep. Did you see that one? They're doing that bullshit again. No. Yeah, like he was putting everyone to sleep. Oh, hey, Turkey Ali Sheik had eyes taped to his glasses. That one was good. I will say that one was funny. They were like Turkey in the 9th round of Shakur's fight. I was like, you guys are such dicks, man. Whoever did that one's a dick, but that was pretty good. That was good imagination there. I love the fight. The kid's badass. I just don't want him to get his hands hurt having to prove it. You know what I mean? Be you, dude. Be you. Hey, listen, they were booing you anyways, bro. You tried to please them, and they fucking booed you anyways. Now, give it to them how Shakur gives it to them, and they're still going to hate you, but at least you're healthy doing it, right? You're not fucking grimacing after every combination. So, I didn't like that part about
Shakur will bring him. I mean, not Shakur. Sorry. Do you think His Excellency will bring him back? Like, let's say he follows your advice and says, "Be Shakur, go the 12 rounds, don't hurt your fucking hand." Do you think His Excellency says, "No. If you fight for me, you go up balls to the wall," or I don't bring you back?
Well, that would be a terrible.
Well, it would.
That would be a terrible idea, or His Excellency can't do that. Boxing is supposed to have a group of characters, right? Pernell Whitaker didn't fucking knock out anyone. They call him the greatest lightweight. They call him a better lightweight than Roberto fucking Duran. Hands of fucking stone, bro. They say the guy that can't not had a 17% knockout ratio. And I'm just throwing a number out there. Don't fuck with me. Yeah. But it was really low. It was really low.
Yeah.
Might even be too high. But come on. That was they have him over Duran. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's who you fought, what you did in those 12 rounds. And if you can't get touched and all you do is touch people up, but you don't knock them out, no one's going to hate you on that. So I always got to revert back to Pernell. He's a prime example of that you don't need to knock out people to be called a genius, to be called, a legend or even the greatest lightweight of all time.
Do you think, let's say we can use a scenario of Schofield not getting ill. Let's say he fought anyway. Would the fight have been different knowing, I mean, I guess if you think it'll be different, knowing now, we know that Shakur injured his hand during, granted it would have been a different opponent, but let's say that hurt hand happens against Schofield. Schofield would have been able to take advantage of that or not?
Look, I don't know Schofield fighting. I haven't seen him too much. What I seen them, they were doing a reflex contest. Did you see that? The little video of them doing they had these what would you say? They were like little sticks that were falling, and the fighter had to catch them.
Yeah.
Schofield did the worst. He did the worst. I think he only caught one, maybe two. And at that moment I thought it was because he was too green. I think it was Madrimov and Ortiz, man. I don't want to say it was them two that came head to head on catching almost all of them. But yeah, Schofield, he was miss. I was like, oh my God, kid.
Well, maybe he's get his ass. Maybe he was already seven the symptoms of the sickness.
So he didn't get his ass. Who was it? One of the foreigners? He had his hand underneath him. Was I was like, bro, it's not catch. What the fuck? Can someone show this guy the rules? Yeah, he totally blew his moment. He was catching him. He wasn't fucking doing it right.
Fucking net underneath him.
He's like, oh, this is so easy. Stupid Americans. Easy.
Fucking Schofield, get out of here. Yeah, so I wasn't sure. I mean, I figured, I don't know, if maybe the end result would have been different if, Schofield didn't get ill, but, we had Shakur in there with his hand fucked.
Shakur was ready. To me, Shakur, it was the best Shakur I have seen because he was so fucking offensive. But I knew it was coming. Miguel, I should have texted you. Next time, I'll tell you, I knew it was going to come at a cost, bro. Whenever you see these guys that have potentially hurt hands, we all know why they have pillow hands. most of the time they already know those hands are fucking hurt. They get hurt when they hit. They've been punching their whole life. They know how far they can take it. When I seen him landing those combos, it was like and then it finally happens. But like I said, it wasn't a Jesus. What was it? Jesus Chavez Mayweather when Mayweather was
Oh
like
yeah, right.
it wasn't one of those. He was doing it, a little wiggle and little
Mhm.
wiggle and But then as the fight, you just kept seeing it, and then after the fight, when he was trying to pull his fucking hand out, he was really showing pain. So that sucks. They haven't told us what it was or if he's gonna be out. Did you see his hand was in ice though for the interview?
Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
So in regards to his opponent, Josh Padley, he did what he could. He was apparently, from what I've read so far, he was rewarded handsomely by
yeah.
His Excellency.
Retired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, here's the thing. He says he can retire off of what he got paid. Or I should say, retired from his regular job. I should say, because
Yeah.
that's what it was. He was I don't know, plumber, construction worker, or something. I forgot what it was this week.
Electrician.
Oh, electrician. Okay. So now he says he can focus, on boxing and not have to, go back and forth because you have to split your time between your day job and training. Definitely makes things a lot more difficult with excelling in professional boxing. But with the being handsomely rewarded the way he can now focus on that. Good for him. What a way to step up, right? I mean, like everybody and their moms was saying, like, hey, I'm here. Even what's the guy's name? Cabrera. I'm trying to think of his last name, but the dude who fought Pitbull Cruz and lost to Pitbull. Everybody was basically saying like, yeah, I'm down. Not only is it a major pay-per-view card, but also a title fight, and then getting a nice payday on top of that. Padley didn't come in and just pick up the paycheck. He did what he could. It just most definitely wasn't enough, and very much outclassed. So
Was
let's
it
hope that.
Giovanni Cabrera? Is that his
Yes,
name?
yes, yes, yes. That's
Yeah.
what's first name. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I've seen videos of him. I saw a video of him saying like, "Hey, I'm available. Hit me up. I'm down to fight Shakur." So there were plenty of takers. There's a lot of people, and ultimately, Josh Padley was chosen. So good for him. I anticipate seeing him again if this is what he's saying is true. He cannot retire from his regular day job, and he can focus 100% full time on professional boxing. Chances are we're going to see him again, but yeah, he didn't have an answer for Shakur, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the well, that's too far into the co-main event. I want to talk about the other substitution, but I don't know if I want to jump the gun because there's some other fights we want to talk about, right?
Right. Right.
So starting off with one of the most exciting fights of the fucking card, Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi. Um, Callum Smith ended up coming away with the victory. It was a very close fight, but damn, what a scrap! Huh? What a scrap to kick off the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I didn't watch it.
Oh, afterwards, you didn't watch it afterwards?
No.
Oh, that damn it!
I don't give a shit about Callum Smith, bro.
Well, I didn't either until I heard it was a killer ass fight, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay," because I missed it either. I missed the entire card, quite frankly, and then I watched it later. But once I found out that that was a killer ass fight, I was like, "Oh shit!" Now they were hyping it too much. They were saying it was the fight of the year, yada yada. It wasn't that. It was a good fight. It was a very fun fight. So entertaining. Not saying that it wasn't, but they were really hyping it up, saying like, "Oh, it was the fight of the night." I'll say that because it was pretty damn even, and they were throwing down, and that was a very entertaining fight. But regardless, Callum Smith came away with the victory. He's now the interim WBO light heavyweight champion. Because a lot of these fights on these card, by the way, were interim belts because the actual legitimate champions are held by either Canelo or Beterbiev or Bivol, I guess, after last Saturday. Okay, did you see the second, I guess, fight? It was the Zhang Zhang. I can always never pronounce his name, and the Ajit Kabayel fight. Did you watch that one?
Caballero, yes.
Okay.
Yes, 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 of
Um,
course.
kind of disappointing. I was expecting more out of Zhe Li Zhang. I was expecting a lot more out of him. He did drop, Caballel, so I was like, oh shit, here we go. This is what we expect to see. And then he goes down to body shots. It's like, what is? I mean, I don't know. I was expecting him to like get back up and continue, but apparently those body shots were really doing a number on him.
Yeah, look, that was just an excellent fight. Look, Caballero, he's not the future of the sport.
No, they're really saying
He's a
it. They're
no,
totally saying that shit too.
he he's a good asset. He'll be in some great fights, but he takes way too much punishment. Zhang just ran out of gas. It was he chopped them down. You know, he chopped down the big tree, the body shots. It was a great fight if you're like Rock'em Sock'em home run derby kind of stuff. But yeah, when you're talking about Usyk and so the guys in the higher ranks, man, Caballero just, that was a very sloppy performance in my opinion. He took a lot of punches. He had to walk through fire to get that victory, and he did all that. I just don't think Usyk will be there like Zhang was when he peppers you and moves around, peppers you and moves around. Tyson Fury the same. These guys aren't like Zhang. And Zhang notorious for running out of gas.
Hmm.
Absolutely ran out of gas.
Yeah, those
he
body shots
he took
definitely
that
helped.
last body shot. Yeah, he
Yeah,
took that last body shot, and he's like, no,
yeah,
no, I'm done. I'm done.
like
It
big
wasn't
bang
like the
out, bang out.
big bang out. Yeah.
That was the thing. It did Jeet, if I can pronounce his first name right, Caballal. Did he basically like draw the blueprint to how to beat Zhang in the future? Like you mentioned, he had to walk through a lot of punches to get there. I don't know if any other heavyweights are willing to do that, but did he pretty much give us the blueprint on how to beat Zhang? Zhang?
Yeah, well, definitely go after the body, right? I think that's the new target if you're going up against Zhang. Um, so yeah, yes, the blueprint is definitely out on where his weak spot is. Yeah.
How far do you? I mean, you mentioned he's not the future, right? But how far do you think Caballal can go as
Oh,
an
with his
opponent? A good B side.
with his excellency, he's going all the way to the top. That's another thing we got to talk about, man. Yeah, he's a little too vocal. Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in guys' corners cheering him on. It looked like he was telling people rounds, like, you got 2 rounds. Who's he telling? It's the guy that later on that fights for the WBC middleweight title.
Oh, Hamza,
Jara.
Hamza, Shiraz.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, he's in his corner, like cheering him on between rounds, dude. It's like, come on,
If that's not a
what?
conflict of interest, I don't know what
Hey,
the fuck
bro,
is.
yeah, you
But
remember how
that's
you
the
were
thing.
talking?
Who's? Yeah. Go ahead.
You
Sorry.
you remember? No, I'm agreeing with you. And you remember how you were talking about the judges are all seeing this?
Mm.
Like all of the judges that he pays are seeing what fucking corner. And I know Don King and Bob Arum, and we all know that the judges knew who they were favoring too. I get it. But do you ever remember Bob Arum in Pacquiao's corner? Like, man, 2 rounds. You, baby, you got this.
Yeah. It's like Manny. I had you winning that last round. Target to the judges. Like he's not gonna do that shit. He wasn't doing that, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Uh,
Don. I think Don King might have been caught one time behind the judge's back. Maybe Don did it, but yeah, I don't know, man. So you can tell with this young man, uh, Cabal. I think it's Cabal. I want
uh,
to say it's going to be more Middle Eastern than the Latin twist that DAZN was giving him. I swear to God, the dude was from Latin America by the time we were done at the end of the
yeah.
night.
Caballel is how they say it, but there is like Caballel. They're giving it this like
Yeah,
Spanish twist.
yeah.
The guy's from fucking. He's from Germany, guys. From fucking Germany.
I was telling my family, I go, I know this is not his fucking name. I hate that they keep
Yeah.
doing that to him.
Yeah.
Oh, they were butchering the shit out of that there. I was like, is this dude Mexican now? What the fuck just happened here?
By the end
Hey,
of the fucking fight,
he was a
Spanish flag.
Turkish. He's a Turkish descent from Germany or some shit, and they're like, Caballel.
Well, at the end of it, he's going to be talking about fucking Mexico and fighting on the Latin card with fucking Oscar. But yeah, that shit. That part is a little. I mean, to touch on that, you know, the Don King kind of did it a little under the table, tried to hide it because he knew there were repercussions. This dude, are there repercussions for his excellency?
Mhm.
No, fuck no. So he's of course going to be out there. He might as well be fucking like sitting next to the judge, looking over shit. Like, is that okay? Okay, he might as well be doing that at this point because like, who's going to tell him no?
There's gonna be a time where you would think there's gonna be a time where a fighter is not gonna put up with that and be like, I didn't know I was coming out here to be against all odds, right? Because that's what you are. When you're in a fight where the promoter who literally is throwing the thing is behind the other guy's corner in between rounds, you're against all odds in that night.
Yeah. I don't know who's gonna tell him that, like, hey, you're supposed to be neutral, you know what I'm saying? And even if you are cheering for the fucking dude, don't go up to the ring, and like
Yeah.
basically like tell his damn corner what to tell him. Like, no, you don't wear all the hats. You wear the
He
hat
had
of
an
the promoter. You sit down.
interaction at one point. He interacts with the cornerman. I seen that in one of the highlights in
Uh,
between rounds. Like he's talking to a cornerman. I don't know what he's saying. He might just been saying, "Great fight, like what you're doing," but it just doesn't look good, right? Does
right.
not look good.
The
Um,
optics.
about Caballero, Tommy Morrison, maybe like project. If I'm His Excellency, I'm putting him on the slow road to the belt, right? Go and find you a bunch of guys that he could beat up on your undercards, sell out, get some good knockouts, just like this one was. And then, when you put him in there with Ray Mercer or Lennox Lewis, well, we'll see what happens.
Well, but that's the thing. Is there a Ray Mercer or Lennox Lewis right now? Because by
Well,
the
I
time
was thinking
he
like
gets there,
I'm
Usyk.
thinking like you throw money at Chisora, right? Get him
Okay.
out of
All right.
retirement,
Yeah.
bring him back out.
Dillian White's ass. Like, go ahead. Come on.
Dillian White, there you go. There you go. Yeah,
That could be, yeah.
exactly.
I mean, that's legit. I just because I figured, by the time he gets to that level, Caballero, I'm talking about, Usyk might not be there anymore. Wilder's not going to be there anymore. Oh fuck, maybe Wilder. Hey Wilder, come in here, knock this
Yep.
motherfucker out, and we have ourselves a good highlight KO. That makes sense. A good B, like the B side of
Yeah.
a card.
Yep.
All right. So, onto what the fight that we're talking about, right? With Carlos Adames and Hamza Shiraz, ended up being a draw, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was even. I know that Shiraz was kind of the guy that everybody was tooting as being like the next hot shit. They even mentioned his name as a potential future opponent for Canelo. They asked him during pre-fight interviews as well, and to his credit, Hamza was like, "No, I'm kind of like I got to focus on Adames first. Let me get a belt before I even talk about Canelo." So he kind of was very humble about it, which was pretty impressive, frankly. And he didn't even get the fucking belt because it came out to be a draw. Do you think that was a good? Well, let me ask you this: you saw that one, right? You didn't miss that fight, did you?
I watched a part of it.
No, from the part that you saw, did it
Yeah,
look like the fight should have been a draw? I
I
mean, it was.
thought, um, no, I thought Shabra. I was leaning towards him winning because I
Mm,
was already kind of, I already knew what the get was on this fight, right? So I was kind of leaning towards him. Was kind of surprised when it came out to be a draw. Maybe His Excellency just didn't want to bring it out on the first fight, right? We don't want to do it yet. Give
yeah.
it a draw. We'll come back. We'll do this again later because it wasn't a good look what was going on during that fight. It really
Mm.
wasn't. Hell, maybe he was telling them you're behind on the scorecards. Who knows? You're 2 points behind. Pick it up. I don't fucking know. But I know he was doing this to the guy in the ring. And
Mm.
that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Um,
And on that subject, so that was for the WBC middleweight title. Earlier, I want to say you sent me, or I sent you. I think you sent me a clip of Mauricio Suleiman talking about the open scoring that's going to take place in
yeah,
this fight. It's
terrible.
over, right? And he says, he goes on to proclaim, we're not going to have any draws. Clearly, there was a fucking draw anyway. Even if he said it, there wasn't going to be any. I'm assuming he assumed that because being able to see the points, fighters would just, I
Oh,
don't know
was
what.
that for this night?
Oh, I don't know.
No,
He
no, no.
talked
I
about it.
think he's. I think the WBC is going to do their own Grand Prix night of WBC belts. I
Oh,
want to say he was. I think Suleiman was announcing another platform that he's going to be doing.
mm,
And yeah, the open scoring, stupid
yeah.
ass idea.
Because I thought that's why His Excellency was doing it. Because like because I don't know if they're like, I mean, the times that they've done it in the past, maybe they didn't do it here, but the times they've done it in the past, they'll flat out put it on the fucking center big screen. So I thought His Excellency saw it, shit is like, dude, yada 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 yada, which he wasn't supposed to do anyway. At least I don't think let his corner do that shit. Let his corner look up and tell the guy his own thing, not His Excellency. But I thought that's why he was doing it, because they were doing the open scoring on this card, no?
Well, maybe, but when I read the post, it sounded like that was for another night. I could be wrong.
Mm,
Either way, it's a stupid idea.
mm,
One, the no draw thing doesn't make any sense. You can absolutely have a fucking draw. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And two,
unless there's like uneven rounds, if there's 13 rounds or 11
yeah,
rounds.
yeah. Are we gonna bring? Yeah, exactly. Are we gonna make it not a draw by having a point break or a tiebreaker? Excuse me.
Mm.
The other thing is the counting of rounds. I am sorry, but if you absolutely know that you cannot lose a fight, all you have to do is make it the next 4 rounds without getting touched. Then how can you be mad at a fighter for running? All he had to do is that's like someone you guys in football at the end of the game, don't they run out the fucking clock? I don't see anyone getting mad then, right? You got all the fans, run the ball, you son of a bitch. Yeah, get down in bounds. Because you got to get down in bounds, Miguel. If you go out of bounds, they stop the
Yeah,
clock.
right.
So they
Yeah.
will literally scream, and I will scream. I don't give a shit if we're winning the game. Slide, motherfucker, get down. I want that clock to run.
Hmm.
We do it in football, right?
Hmm.
In baseball, pitchers try to get guys to hit either pop ups or get hit the ball into the ground so they get easy outs, right? It's called easy outs, right? No one's looking for a hard game. So if it's going into round 9 and I'm up and all I have to do is last, don't get mad if I'm just throwing jabs the rest fucking the next 4 or 5 rounds. Don't be mad at me.
What if there was some sort of hybrid? Like, because here's the thing, I don't know. I mean, and I remember them doing it a few times in Mexico and in Texas, I think, but I don't remember right offhand when they actually announce the points. So let's say they do it at the end of every round, then presumably, like you said, the guy will see like, oh shit, I've already won enough rounds. I just not need to be touched the rest of the fight. The opponent's gonna be like, damn, I'm behind. I better come at it. Now he's gonna have to take stupid risks to potentially get the fucking win, while the other guy is just basically coasting. What if there's, let's say, up to the fifth round? I don't know. Open scoring up to the fifth round, and then nobody knows the remaining seven or whatever the fuck. Like, at least at that way, towards the home stretch, nobody knows who's going to be ahead unless it's obvious, which is in the story. But it's kind of half and half. It's open scoring, but not the whole fucking way.
I like that idea. I like that idea. I mean, I think you almost have to keep it that way, Miguel, because there will be guys tuning out once they know that the fight is in the bag. And I can't really be mad at that because we don't get mad at that in other sports. I don't know why we
No, well,
crucify
they're going by
boxers.
the rules. That's how if like the rules are what make them behave that way. It's
It,
giving them the option to behave that way. So it's like, I'm just following the rules. Why the fuck be mad at me for?
it's almost like that childish attitude you get in when you're going one on one with your buddy and you go best of 3, best of 5, fuck that, best of 7. It's like
Like,
even if you're getting your ass kicked in Latin, 8 of the 12 rounds, your fighter's losing, your money's going, everyone's clowning. You're like, oh yeah, but if he runs the last 4 rounds, he should lose this fight. How about that? Yeah, pussy. Pussy ran the last 4 rounds, should lose that fight, right? Isn't it hella weird? It's weird. Oscar lost the fight in 3 rounds. Seriously. He whooped it. He whooped that motherfucker's ass for 9 rounds.
right. No, yeah, that's because I mean that's the point of not knowing at the end. Yeah, granted, sometimes we get slapped in the face with a garbage ass decision, but is the answer really giving away the points and like telling them what the score is? So the guy's corner can be like, oh yeah, we're ahead. Just back away the whole fucking time. Like, okay, cool. Like
Yeah,
we're
dude.
gonna
Hey,
get some
I'm
shitty
telling my
endings.
guy that.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
telling
know.
him.
Yes, I'm saying that, but that's my point. Like, this allows or encourages that behavior from the
Encourages.
fucking fighters.
Miguel,
Um,
that's why we took it out. That's why it never worked.
mm,
Because of that word right there. It is going to encourage the Floyd Mayweathers to fucking run, right?
mm.
That's exactly why this thing didn't work the first time. I don't even know why Suleiman's even, attempting to bring it back. And then the no draw thing is just dumb because there absolutely are draws in boxing. Matter of fact, I hate it when we have to give a round to a guy. I hate that when we're counting punches. Like, well, he did land that one right hand. That was a pretty good right hand. Fuck that. How about you got to land 5 or no one's winning a round?
Yeah.
Let's put that. If we're all going to be the new, and I hope we don't get into the whole rule changing thing either. I don't want to see that like many sports, UFC, NFL. I think even the NBA has been changing up their rules lately.
Well,
Don't want
baseball
that either.
too. Baseball, I think baseball added like
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like a 24-second shot clock, but for baseball, like
yeah,
the
and you
pitcher has to
can't.
get the pitch off.
and you can't block the plate anymore. Did you see
Oh
this one?
yeah, I do.
So the guy gets tagged out. The ref's like, nope, he's not out. You blocked the plate.
Yeah.
Put the runner back on the base. What the fuck? Oh, dude, you know how much that's going to fuck up a World Series one day?
Mm.
Can you imagine? He's out. No, he's not out because the ref said he wasn't out. Oh, my God. You see people lose their fucking mind, dude.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that hopefully we don't get to that point like you said, but the way the direction is going, according to what Suleiman is saying, I would not be surprised if there's where we end up.
Another rule change. Yeah,
Hmm.
rule change on top of the rule change.
Hmm. All right. Well, Adames keeps his WBC middleweight title intact, and hopefully they run it back if they want to do that again, because I suspect they want to make Hamza a household name, and I suspect that they're going to give him another crack at a belt. Maybe not Adames, maybe another belt, but in that same weight class is that Johnny Beck dude, and that's a fucking killer. So I'm assuming they're going to try to stay away from that fool. I suspect they're going to have a rematch with Adames somewhere down the line. I'm not sure when, but that's where it looks like at least.
Him
All
and
right.
then Lara. He could take on Adamas and Lara.
Yeah, that's right. Laura
Those
still
two
has the
of it.
belt.
Yeah, they've held on to those belts for so long. I swear to God, bro, those guys have been champions for years. It feels like just under the radar. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Just quietly holding their little piece of their titles. I know they don't have the major titles, but it's Shiraz. That's a good 2 fight streak right there. Give him Adamas and then step up the competition with Lara.
I think Laura is still with PBC, so who the fuck knows if that they're gonna let that motherfucker do anything? Quite
Anything can
frankly.
happen at Rehad. See, I need his excellent. I need that
Yeah,
sound bite.
that's
I
what we
need
need.
that.
Yeah, the soundbite, right? We need it. We need to get the accent right because we all
Yeah,
sound like we're from Cuba when we say that shit.
we're gonna start saying Caleb.
Yeah,
How do you say that?
yeah. Caleb, Caleb. Let's bring Caleb over. It's like no. You
I
say
didn't think it
Caleb.
was like that.
It's one of those kind of like you know.
That would
Uh,
have been great if Sergio Mora would have tried it that way. He's like, you guys are saying it wrong. It's
yeah.
like this.
Like I've heard His Excellency say it. It's Caleb. Okay, guys, get it right. Uh, all right. Well, that brings us to what I suspect you're talking about as far as a star being born. One Virgil Ortiz Jr. taking on Israel Madrimov. Um, that was a very entertaining fight. Man, the punch, I didn't see the punch stat on that one, but holy hell, the punch output on that one. Um, I gotta admit, I was a little concerned for Virgil at first. Yeah, we chose him to win. We predicted he would win. But it's the way it started. I was like, is he gonna cut off the fucking ring already? What the hell, dude? It seemed like he was just letting at least the early rounds go. And I'm like, and then of course his face getting bruised up because it looked like the whenever Israel would throw a punch, even if he does block it, it would still pop him in his face. And after the second or third round, you can already see the markings on Virgil's face, and I was like, damn, is he getting tagged that much? And he's not landing that much on Israel. I was like, oh fuck, damn it, Matrimonial's gonna pull this shit off, right? But in the end, Virgil and his I don't know, his Terminator like tendencies of just coming forward, throwing punches. Great advice in the corner from Garcia, giving him in between the rounds. I thought it was a great performance. Yes, he didn't go in here and like knock him the fuck out, but you're not gonna do that to Madrimov. It wasn't that kind of performance. But I like this one better. Even if he would have come in and maybe mopped the floor of Madrimov and take him out in 3 or 4 rounds, I wouldn't have wanted that. I wanted it like this because it showed that he was able to stay composed through the entire fucking fight and win it in the end the way he did with Boachuk before. What did you think of that fight?
In all of Ortiz's victories, they've been what some could describe as cherry picked opponents, right? He's showcased, he's being brought up correctly by Golden Boy, yada yada yada. This is the first fight where we kind of didn't know what the outcome was going to be. This was his test. This was his moment. Bro, let me tell you that to me that was a pound for pound like performance. And I'm not saying the best in the world. I'm just saying top 10. I'm
Yeah,
saying if
his
he
name's
adds
being
on.
mentioned up there.
Oh, dude, if he adds on another big welterweight by the end of this year, his name will be on the
Super
pound for
welterweight.
pound list. Super welterweight, excuse me.
Mm.
His name will be on the pound for pound list. Um, the defense, the combination punching, we know he has the power. it was just everything else was going for him that night. Yes, the face did get marked up, and I was nervous about that. But just well schooled. You see, he's an American boxer. Ortiz is an American boxer. You could see it in him. The bounce, the combinations. Uh, it's that was special, man. That was a special performance. Look, this guy went 12 rounds with fucking Crawford, you guys.
Mhm. And nearly
Yet,
won.
and
Nearly won.
yet was not in the fight
Mhm.
with Ortiz. He wasn't there. Now, he might have been sick. I want to say that this is the guy that they said was complaining about being possibly under the weather that morning. Okay. But with that being said, he still got in the ring. He did his thing. That was a great performance for Ortiz. Um, yeah, it was a star. To me, it was a star. Look, I would try my hardest to get Ortiz in Dallas Stadium follows His Excellency. This is a kid you can build a big franchise on over there in Texas. You know that.
Against who?
Well, I was gonna say bring him out of the grave. The guy they wanted to see over there, Crash Boy, drunk guy, Earl Spence.
Oh,
I was gonna say bring Spence out of the grave. Get him one fight, get his name propped up on PBC, and let Virgil take him out in Dallas with 50,000 Mexicans there.
pass the torch.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's the fight that, and Spence might want it too. He might want that payday, right? Maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. I want to say it's a fixed fight, but at least he gets a payday on his last day out. But we know that it would be a hot fight. That was what I was thinking. I was like, it's time. It's time for him to start his run. And Spence, he's floating around there. You can go for the champs right away, but you can also build a fighter's career, and that's where I think where Ortiz is right now. He had his hard fight. Now let's give him a big name, and then fucking unify next year. Um, Kind of sad Crawford's up there fucking around with Canelo,
Yeah.
because if Canelo hurts him, it's gonna hurt him bringing back that torch to Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
Kell Brook angle all over again. Like, yeah, you beat, when who beat Kell Brook after? Was it Crawford?
Triple G. Oh, no, no. After, well, he moved up to fight Triple G. Then it was Spence himself actually. Spence
It
fucked
was
him up.
Spence. Okay,
Yeah.
so when he comes back, the fight's just not that big, right? The guy had a
Yeah.
dislocated eye. He fucking was knocked out, quit. Like, it just wasn't that big of a fight. And so let's hope that he doesn't do that. Canelo Crawford doesn't end in that similar fashion, because it's going to hurt the market for the fight with Ortiz. Wow. I mean, Ortiz looks so good. His market was already big in Texas. I want to say he has 3 murals, I think, already
Oh
around his
shit.
neighborhood. Yeah,
Okay.
they like him. They love that kid out there, and he put on a fight that's going to make him a household name in the boxing community. If he already isn't,
Mhm.
this fight would have gotten him there. And yeah, sky's the limit for him, man. I was totally impressed. Me and Junior, we love that fight. That was the fight of the night for me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just because he did have to come back. There was moments there where it did look like Madrimov was gonna start coming with the pressure, but Ortiz, he's relentless. He got hella heart. He's got good combination, just a good fundamentals, man. I was telling Junior, this is how you gotta fucking fight. This is it.
Mhm.
His hands were always right here. I loved how his hands were always high, and freaking his combination punching. And then at the end, the body shots, the body work started coming together. Yeah, it was like I said, give him another fucking big fight by the end of 2024, and I think we see him on the pound for pound list. So
So big fight, as in a big name or one of the other champions? Because I pulled up the
no, just a
champions.
big name, just a big name. He
All
doesn't
right.
have to be a champion.
Well,
Like
he
I
has
said,
he has the
I had
promotion,
Spence.
but okay. Oh, Spence. Okay, right.
I had him fighting Spence at Dallas Stadium, right?
Charlo? No.
Why not? No, why not? That's all. I'm good with that. I'm good
Okay.
with that. Yeah.
No Thurman or anything. Nothing
No,
like.
please let Thurman go.
All right. Yeah, because he's got a couple of fights coming up, or one fight coming up. I think it's gonna happen at some point. But
Australia.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But okay. Speaking of Australia, We know that Tim Tszyu has a fight coming up. It looks like it was announced recently. He's going to be fighting in Australia himself. Let's say Tim.
Joey Spencer.
Yeah, former PBC guy, who was pretty solid guy. I think he only has like one defeat on his record, a loss to Ramos, if I'm not mistaken. One of the Ramos brothers, I get them mixed up, but one of them, that's like I think his only defeat on his record. So let's say Tim puts on a great performance over there and beats Spencer, Tim Tszyu, and Virgil Ortiz.
Great fight. It's a great fight. That Ortiz is ready to take on anyone they want to put in front of him. I gave him the Spence angle because I know them two are big in Dallas, right? And I think that would pack that house. So that's why I go with that. But that's an excellent fight. Would be him and Tim Tszyu. Also, I gotta say I'm a little nervous with Tszyu taking on Spencer, man. Tszyu doesn't have a great defense. I think we noticed that in his last two fights that he's a very face first, kind of like he's balls to the walls, wants to test his manhood, maybe little daddy issues got going on there. Like, fuck you, I can be hard too, dad. Yeah. And it's like, bro, you need a little bit more in boxing than just fucking the tough man attitude. You know what I mean? Is that Spencer kid, not only can he knock heads, he throws a lot of crazy hooks himself, if I'm not mistaken. That kid's a slugger.
Yeah,
and
he is.
All right, so yeah, you don't want your chin high on a slugger, and Tszyu keeps that chin kind of high. So I'm a little nervous with that matchup. I know it's a PBC thing, and that's why, it was probably easy deal to make and yada, yada, yada. But after his last performance, don't know. I just don't know anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Time wise, or at least timeline wise, because that fight with Spence, if we were to make, Spence and Virgil, that sounds pretty good. But chances are Spence will have to fight one more time before then, right? As of right now, he has no fight announced on the horizon. I mean, he was gonna fight Fundora, but however many sanctioning bodies said no, fuck no, we ain't gonna sanction this shit, and off he goes. So presumably Spence has to fight at least one time before they throw him in with Virgil. For Tim has already got a fight scheduled and it's going to happen soon. It seems like timeline wise, a potential fight with Tim is
very
more plausible than having to wait for fucking Spence to have one warm up and then throw him in there with Virgil.
Very true. Yeah.
But regardless, a star-making performance. My dad is convinced that he beats Crawford if they ever fight. My dad's like, you know what? That motherfucker beats Crawford. I'm like, oh shit! Right. Yeah. I'm like, all right, Dad, let's fucking throw that shit. I'm gonna hold the fire if the fight ever happens. But
I'm definitely. I remember I've always questioned Ortiz, right? I think, yeah, I was like, is he really a superstar? He's ready. Let's go ahead and line him up and see how many he can knock down.
Yeah. So. And at the perfect age, he's like 25, 26 right now. So he's like right there. Basically, where fucking the tough should be. But anyway.
Good job, Oscar.
Yeah, no, right? Which is kind of funny because even Oscar posted something like, "Sorry, Eddie, for beating another fucking Eddie guy," with that one. I think that's the fight, right? I forgot. I wasn't sure if it was another one, but he posted something on his social media saying like, "Sorry, Eddie, because another matchroom dude getting his ass handed to him." I believe that was the one, unless I was getting confused with another one. But
no, you're right. You're right.
All right, so that brings us to the co-main event. Damn it, if I can get my damn fucking camera to focus. Joseph Parker taking on Martin Bakole. However, it wasn't supposed to be Martin Bakole, was it? It was supposed to be Daniel Dubois. I think Dynamite is the name that they gave him, Triple D. But one Daniel Dubois also fell ill. I was pulling up articles as to why, but I didn't see anything as far as like specifying what was his feelings, what was his symptoms, what illness was he suffering. I didn't find that. Did you see it anywhere?
No, and they were even more secretive on this pull out than they were on the Schofield. I mean, this Schofield, we got what it was potentially, and we got a photo of the young man in the hospital bed. With Dubois, it was kind of like he just got out of there. Yeah. Put him on a plane and shipped him out. I think he was there during the night. I think he was there on fight night, but still, he was just out of the fight.
When they do this type of shit, if they didn't give him a ticket, they're like, no, you're out of the fight. You don't even get a ticket to the like, damn, all right, get kicked out of the fucking arena.
So yeah, Like I said, Schofield got very lucky that this happened, though, because I wasn't believing the young man at all. But then when Daniel Dubois pulled out, he pulled out the morning before, correct? It was Friday morning.
Oh, that is a good one.
I believe it was Friday morning, man. You can
Yeah,
look it up.
because
Yeah, I
because
think it
he didn't
was.
weigh in. Yeah, because it was before the weigh-ins, and the weigh-ins took place. Well, at least here on US, it was Friday morning when they weighed in, and he didn't. At that moment, they were already saying that Bacoli was literally on a plane on the way there. So yeah, it happened for our timeline. It was Friday morning.
Did you hear? Did you hear Alec Bacoli when he was in the airport going to Riyadh? They were like, "How you feel, champ?" or something. How you feel going into the fight? And he goes, "Well, I'll start training when I get there, but I'm on my way." I'll start training when I get there. So fucked up, man. I know he made good money, but at what cost? You know, to
Hmm.
to to show up and get knocked out in 2 rounds. The way he got knocked out was not pretty. You can clearly see his brain got scrambled.
Hmm.
Um, both fill-ins were knocked out. Kind of sucks for those guys. I know that we're like, oh, what a break. Hey, that sucks when that's a break in your life, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it would have been something if either one would have won, either Padley or Bacoli. I actually initially predicted that Joseph Parker would beat Daniel Dubois, and then once the Dubois pulled out and Bacoli got in, I was like, oh shit, I ain't going for Parker anymore. I probably should have stuck with that damn prediction because I would
Yeah.
have had it right. Because I mean, who would have thought it would happen? It would have happened that way. If Parker would have, I mean, Parker did win, but if we all thought, oh, you know what, Parker can still pull it off, chances are we were thinking he was going to pull it off by decision. He was going to outbox Bacoli, not knock him the fuck out the way he did. And, it was 315 pounds, I think he was coming in. And I know he's a big motherfucker anyway. And it wasn't like he wasn't in fighting shape, obviously, right? But he was, again, rewarded handsomely for it, flew in, missed the weigh in because he was literally on the plane on the way over there. And last minute was thrown in there. So it was obvious that he wasn't prepared. He wasn't ready
He
for a
was
fight like that, right? It was pretty obvious. But
absolutely not prepared.
for it to have happened that way, how shocked were you when you saw Bacoli go down and then his corner saying like, "No, fuck it, he's too hurt."
I was kind of sad for him. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know at what cost this hurt. What if 2 months from now he goes in and gets knocked out again?
Mm.
Now his market from that Anderson fight is basically gone. And to be honest with you, bro, that's why I wasn't leaning towards him. The only thing Bacoli has done so far in the boxing world is beat Big Baby Anderson, who's an
Mhm.
absolute nobody in this world. He's a top ranked
Well, he stopped
prospect.
him before he became a nobody, pretty much.
Yeah, he's a prospect,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
we know Joseph Parker is not a prospect. Joseph Parker's probably fought in every freaking name of this century on his resume. So Parker definitely is not a prospect. Didn't think knockout, but I thought Parker was going to handle business. He did. It was impressive for the fact that he got him out of there so fast, right? One punch knockout. Um, but not surprised that Parker won. I don't really know who Bacoli is except for a guy who beat up a rookie. That's all he is to me right now. And
Uh,
I wanted to also say
mm.
now the interviews are starting to come out where Baby Anderson's saying he didn't even like boxing. Did you hear about this? He only does it for his family.
uh,
Yeah, so it's like what's going on here. His
well,
last
I mean,
fight, his last
uh
fight, he didn't look that great, right?
No, he did not look great at all. He basically, I mean, it looked like he was going through the motions. That's pretty much what it looked like. As soon as the fight, or at the end of the fight, as soon as his hand was raised as the winner, he booked it. He left the fucking ring. I didn't even know if ESPN planned to even interview him afterwards to see how he was, physically or mentally after the Bacoli KO. But it seemed like he just booked it and got out of there. And it seemed like on the way out, he was just kind of like sort of half-assedly, like, high fiving the fans on the side on the aisle as he was leaving. But it was obvious that his mind was somewhere else. I don't know where exactly, but no, I didn't see that. He said that. Yeah, I'm sure getting an ass whooping by Bacoli makes you want to change your mind about your
Didn't
profession.
even want to. I didn't want to do this, right?
Yeah, right. It's like His Excellency, like you signed this contract on this check here. This check cleared. That means you did want to do it. Um, but in regards to that fight, what was your first impression when you heard that Dubois had to pull out?
There's something in the water. It's either the water or the food. I started thinking of why they're getting sick. That's what I was thinking about because it's things that the fighters are going to have to get on top of. Look, we've always heard back in the day when fighters travel, they bring their mothers to cook for them. They bring in their. I think Katsuya Zoo brought his own water one time. Like he flew in bottled water from wherever the
Who?
fuck Katsuya Zoo.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to say he brought water. Even though he didn't even trust the water in America, right? He was bringing fucking water in from his country.
Mm,
I believe that was Zoo that did that. But you've heard these stories in the past, right?
mm.
Their own private chefs, their own. The NFL sent letters to the Raiders when they went to Mexico. Don't eat the fucking meat. It might have steroids. You're only going to eat what we give you in the hotel. So we've seen these type of things when people leave, when athletes leave to other countries. Is that what hit over there in Riyadh this weekend, this past Saturday? If the Madrimov illness is real, obviously something was either going around that building or it's the food or in the drink. So that's all I was thinking about when Dubois pulled out. Um, I was interested in the fight, but it wasn't like I lost any sleep over Dubois pulling out. And I will say that Parker, I hope he's rich for all those
Yeah.
names. No, it's like seriously, he might be like hella rich. We don't even know it. You know what I mean? The dude just
Yeah.
has a fat account because, fuck, man, he's faced like everybody.
Yeah.
Great resume that he's building on a, just on, under the radar kind of, hey, this how many legends this guy fought in that era. That's where he's getting to, and he has a lot of wins. So I hope he's got a good bank account. But yeah, it looks like he will get his shot at Usyk. I think he should get the title shot, man. The guy's been through everything, you know?
Yeah. And even this curveball that was thrown at him, he literally knocked it out the park by
Yep.
not only beating the guy they put in place, but knocking him the fuck out. A guy who was coming in. Granted, it was a late minute replacement and he wasn't fully prepared, but he still, it's not Parker's fault. He's gonna swing for the fucking fences anyway, and he took the dude out. That raised his stock like fivefold. He has to be next in line. Like, there's no way anybody else is gonna get in front of him. It, beating Wilder, I think one of his first, well, some of his losses. Oh, he beat Andy Ruiz. Joshua, he lost to Joshua, I want to say right offhand, and a couple of other ones. Maybe one other one. I think he has two losses. But regardless, it's a resurgence. It's a resurgence of him, right? It's him beating these guys. Zhang, he beat Zhang, and he beat Wilder, and now this. So if he was not next in line, I mean, I don't know who else is gonna, whoever the hell out. If somebody else gets a crack at the belt, they're gonna probably jump the line. I hope they don't just give it to Dubois when he comes back. Which, by the way, I pulled up again. I'm looking for like any explanation on what the illness is, but ESPN reports Daniel Dubois has withdrawn from his heavyweight title fight against Joseph Parker with an unknown illness, with Martin Bacoli stepping in as his replacement. Promoter Ben Shalman has confirmed to ESPN. It was reported Dubois was being checked by a doctor, but the nature of the illness has not been disclosed. So as of right now, we don't know what exactly it is. Maybe he got some poisonous cream smothered on him, by Joseph Parker's masseuse. But yeah, that when I read that, it was it was another punch to my gut because we had already found out what happened with Schofield by that point. So it's like, geez, this card, and again, we mentioned it in the previous show, last week's show, that we were calling this fight or this card. I mean, the fight card of whatever the year or the decade or whatever the hell, and. We haven't even got to the card yet, and we said it like hell. We don't even know if the fight's gonna go on. For all we know, one of these fighters are gonna pull out, and sure enough, two of them did.
Two
With
of
one
them.
of them, wouldn't it be some shit if maybe Mazurmov tried to pull off two and they're like, no, you can't. We already had two pull out, you can't. It's like fuck. All right, I guess we're gonna have to go for it.
So
That
put
definitely
on a
would.
diaper.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's
Yeah,
just
we'll,
shitting
we'll
his
we'll have a
pants all night.
we'll have a bucket in your corner in case you got to puke in between rounds because apparently the food here, well, maybe I don't even know if
Yeah,
we
we won't start
yeah,
that rumor, but
yeah, or the water or anything else for that matter
in
because
the past, it's always sort of leaned towards food poisoning or the water. It's,
yeah. Sometimes the jet lag, but I don't think that happens this particular case. I think they got there with enough time to avoid that.
and
Uh,
then yeah, and then two guys get that ill. I don't know. I've never seen two guys pull off a card.
no,
Two guys pull off, and the zone was potentially there was a third guy that was sick on the card too.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's
That is nuts.
crazy.
I don't remember that happening in recent memory. And can you imagine how much? Well, I mean, the card was still good. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but imagine if Madrimov had been off the card. I don't know who the hell they would throw in the last minute. Maybe they would completely scrap the fight altogether. I don't know, but that would have definitely put a major dent in that fucking card. If those two replacements didn't already, this one would have been terrible.
Yeah, because Bulky does he does Bulky, that's not his name. How do you
But
say it?
Coley, but Coley,
Bacoli. He doesn't last that long. It's only a
right?
5 minute fight. You know what I mean? So that
Mhm.
yeah, thank you for showing up, but you really didn't show up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're just a placeholder, basically. All right. Well, that brings us to the main event of the evening or morning for us afternoon. One Dmitry Bivol taking on Better Biev, Artur Better Biev, who up until Saturday was the undefeated, undisputed light heavyweight champion. So my dad thought about it. He's like, you know what? I wouldn't put it past these motherfuckers to, make Bivol win to get that third fight out of there because we already know that His Excellency wants a third fight if Bivol ended up winning. Sure enough, he ended up coming away with the victory and the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Now, all speculation aside, Andrew, what did you think? How did you score it?
Um, I thought it was a draw. Didn't
Which it was
care.
on one of the scorecards, by the way. But
Yes. Didn't care when if either guy won though.
mm,
Miguel, I think if we watch this fight 10 times, one's going to win 5, the other one's going to win 5. And all of them could have been draws. I think once you watch this fight once, you're going to see it the same every time.
mhm.
I didn't really see a difference. The only thing that I can say Bivol did different in this fight in the last 4 rounds was combination punching. Better Beef is going to have to try to find a way to break the rhythm of Bivol late in that fight. He just started with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Better Beef was like trying to come in, throw his 1, 2, his power shots.
Mm.
But Better Beef don't have a 4 punch combo. Not at 40. Not at this point in his career. And I think Bivol, if I want to give any edge on why he won the fight, was the combination punching at the end, and I think it clicked in Bivol head. I got this. It just bunches and bunches, move around, punches and bunches. He's not going to be able to outpoint me. In the third fight, he's going to beat him even more decisively. And that's where maybe hopefully we see these two separate. You got to remember, it's because Beterby's 42,
Yeah, yeah.
right? He's coming off injuries and everything else. But it's a very close fight. Um, it's a fight that I want to see one more time, and then that's it. I'm done because it's a little too close. It's not Arturo Gotti, Ward, Mickey Ward.
Mhm.
It's not Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez. It's not Ali versus fucking uh, um,
Oh, Fraser.
Frazier.
Yeah.
It's a great trilogy, but it's not those. So can we leave it alone after this last one? It's not Marquez versus Pacquiao, right? It was good technical fight, but none that I really seen too many people get out of their seats for. So,
All right. Um, Easily the most memorable trilogy since maybe Tarver Jones or something that we can think of, a light heavyweight, I should say,
oh, light
specifically light
heavyweight.
heavyweight.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
no, Miguel, this was not
Yeah. No.
memorable at all.
Yeah. In light heavyweight championship is what I'm
I
talking about.
think Bivol ex-wife got more fucking hits on her social media than these two did after these 24 rounds of
Mm.
boxing. I think she got harassed more than Better Beef did. Um, which is it was all called for too. She was stupid for ever doing that in the first fight.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably why
But
she's
yeah,
back this time around.
oh yeah. But then the internet found her.
Yeah.
They will not let you forget. But either way, I will watch it a third time. I'm not gonna be losing sleep over it the night before. It was a very technical fight, right?
Mm.
One where I just thought Better Beef he just can't give anymore. He's doing all he can, and it finally clicked in Bevol's head. And I love that's why I told you guys I hella felt like this was a mental thing that was holding Bivol back on Better Beef. And he kind of confirmed it when he was like, when I joined the Olympic team, you were my idol. I looked up
Mm.
to you. Did you heard him
Mm-hmm.
say all that to
Yeah.
Better Beef? I think in this fight, it finally clicked that he's better than him. Maybe back then, as little boys, this guy had everyone's number. But today in the present, my combination punching can beat him. And it started working. And in that third fight, look for Bivol to use his youth to come in a lot faster and try to get ahead on points and cruise to a decision. Um, it was a good run for Better Beef. Uh, but yeah, and Miguel, that's with me saying I don't care if it was a draw. I don't care who won, right? It's a very close fight, but I see why Bivol got the edge this time. To me, it was the combinations at the end. Because I was kind of like seeing them, and I'm like, well, he's landing 4-2 now. That's all I kept seeing was 4-2, 4-2, 4-2. You keep doing that math, the other guy's gonna be ahead at the end of the round, and that's all that better be was just he was trailing too much, too much. He never was able to pin him on the ropes. He wasn't able to turn that fight around. It was too much of getting 4 shots thrown at you, you returning 2 back.
Uh,
Simple
at
math.
at the end of the fight, they interviewed both fighters. It seemed like they were both pretty much down for a third one, especially if those fucking, His Excellency's checks clear. So I'm sure they would be down. And even Better Be of himself said, like, I really didn't even want a second one, but here I am. So it was obvious that he kind of was more convinced, I guess, persuaded by a nice little payday, or major payday, I should say. After the fight, they were both interviewed, right? And they both seemed like they were giving their version of the story. Uh, Towards after Better Biev got interviewed, he went up to Bivol and was doing this like finger shaking thing. Did you see that shit? He was like trying to tell him, and Bivol's face was just like, "Come on, dude, like it's so fucking over, right?" And he's saying like no, 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 and he kept saying no, and he kept doing like the finger shit, right? And then he eventually walked away, and then Bivol's corner were like, okay, and they just kept going. So did you notice that there was like some sort of like altercation, or actually interaction between them after the fight? That's, I mean, obviously he's not okay with losing, right? It's his first loss, losing the undisputed championship. I get it, but it seemed like he took it another way. I don't know if it was personal or something. They were talking to one another in a language I could understand. They were speaking Russian, I'm assuming. But did you see that?
Yes, and I want to say he was just telling him they were just talking about where they were at and how this is boxing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I think that's the conversation they were having, if I'm not mistaken. DAZN
Mm,
kind of said, Betterby was telling them this is boxing.
mm.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But don't hold me to that. Either way, it's a good fight. Look, they only have one other fight that's on the radar, really, that anyone gives a flying fuck about, and that's David
Let's
Benavidez.
talk about that, please. That was exactly the next topic, because His Excellency did say that if Bivol won, then we're going to have a trilogy with Beterbiev and Bivol. So that means that one David Benavidez has to sit on the sideline if he wants to wait for the winner of the trilogy. But he has come out and said that he's more than willing to go up to cruiserweight and fight one Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Um, what what we've seen from fighters who go up in weight class and then back down, that's probably not the best fucking idea. Do you think Benavidez will actually go through with this and move up to cruiserweight to fight somebody like Zurdo or anybody else for that fucking matter? But my point is moving up and then moving back down after the trilogy ends.
I wouldn't want to see it. Um, it's not worth it to me. I think Benavidez has made a big enough name in the light heavyweight division. This fight with the winner of Better Bivol is bigger not only to their careers but to the sport than a simple Ramirez versus Benavidez on some obscure night that no one gave a fuck about. Because honest,
Supposedly September, supposedly, which we know is historically Canelo's weekend. That's the last I read that they're planning to do it in September. I'm not sure if it's specifically Mexican Independence Day weekend, but why wouldn't they if we have a Mexican American and a Mexican?
if I'm Al Heyman, I'm gonna be real. I know Al likes thinking just because he has Mexicans on a fight card, Mexicans are all gonna show up and they're gonna make millions of dollars. That's not really the case. One, Benavidez is not a great pay-per-view star, and Gilberto Ramirez is not a big name. He was barely a name when he was in the sweepstakes for Canelo.
Mhm.
He's not really a name today. His fights are very low budget. Do you get what I'm saying? Like when you look at Gilberto Ramirez's last few fights, they're on low budget platforms. They're not. It's not like there's a lot of money being invested behind this young man. So why put him on pay per view acting like you're gonna break the bank? If I'm Al Heyman, I'm real nervous about that fight. I don't know if I want to do that yet because Benavidez is set to do so good in the Better Bivol fight, especially if that turns into a rematch and a third fight and all of the above. So I'm not a big fan of Ramirez Benavidez in September. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this post here real quick by this Instagram account, Boxing Empire. With Bivol better be headed towards a trilogy later this year, hearing that Zurdo Ramirez and Benavidez to land on Mexican Independence Day weekend in September. This is an all-out Mexican war and could definitely be fight of the year. Yada yada. He added a whole bunch of captions to it, but it seems now that I read this, it seems as though Mexican Independence weekend is specifically the date that they're going for. Um, let's say it doesn't happen. Let's say Benavides gets smart and says, "Yeah, fuck cruiserweight. I'm not gonna go to cruiserweight. I'll wait this one out." Does he wait it out and the trilogy entirely, or does he fight one more time between now and then? Because he's gonna have to stay active, right? I mean, he's 26, 27. Ideally, he would have to fight at least one time before around maybe presumably around the time that the trilogy finishes. So, who else for Benavides? I mean.
Yeah, I don't, I don't know who what else would be there, but at that point you're looking at just a fight. You're not looking for, a marquee name because his marquee name is coming when he takes on Bivol or Better Beef. And you got to remember that's going to be on a whole nother. That's Saudi Arabia. That's Riyadh, right? Better Beef and Bivol seem to have a great fan base out there. The crowd was there. They were saying both of their names. You seen Better Beef give his praise to Allah after that scores major points. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying if he beats Bivol in the next fight, he's gonna have a for sure fan base out there. They're all gonna come back to watch him versus Benavidez. So yeah, if I'm Benavidez, I think I just take a showcase fight. You get a fight of someone you can beat, and your start to stardom just comes when you take on the winner of Better Beef and Bivol.
All right. I was thinking other people like on the undercard we had Callum Smith and Buatsi. Buatsi was a loser. I wouldn't see him buying. I mean, loser. He did put on quite a performance, so I use that word loosely, but he didn't win. I don't know if PBC Benavidez' team, Al Heyman is willing to like go in there and do business with Matchroom or anyone else to try to get some sort of fight like that going. Chances are PBC is going to find one of their guys and toss him in there against Benavidez to keep him busy if they don't go the route of
And
Zurdo Ramirez.
that's a great name. I mean, that's a Callum
Yeah.
Smith coming off a big win on a big card. That's a great name. That's something definitely I could see them going in the direction of just because of the win he just had. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and close the show out with one more topic because we are fight week this weekend, this Saturday, March 1st. Gervonta Tank Davis returns to the ring to defend. Does he have a belt? Let me see. Does he have a belt? Yeah, his WBA lightweight championship against one Lamont Roach Jr. Now, that is going to be on pay per view. It is going to be 70 some odd dollars. Another PBC, Amazon Prime pay per view. How many more of these we're going to get, I'm not entirely sure because I don't think Prime is going to want to play this game much longer with PBC and Al Heyman. But we do have a couple of fights on the undercard. Jose Valenzuela taking on Gary Antoine Russell, which is one of the many Russell brothers. Somebody you named earlier, Andrew Sandor Martin taking on Alberto Puello, and a couple of other people that probably haven't heard of before, but that's okay. But presumably one Lamont Roach is a little outgunned in this one. He is a 130-pound champion. He has a belt. I forget what belt it is. I want to say WBO. Moving up to 135 to take on Gervonta Tank Davis, which is basically Tank Davis's MO by this point. Either drain a guy to come down or get a smaller guy to come up, and that's pretty much what's going on here. Since this is a PBC card, you can anticipate a lot of these fights going 12 rounds. However, I'm not entirely sure if Lamont is going to be in there for the full 12 rounds against Gervonta. I suspect we might see something similar to Frank Martin and that kind of KO. What do you think of this fight? I mean, I know we've brought it before. We mentioned it several times before, but where it's finally here is with the footsteps. We're going to see it this weekend from Barclays Center, if I'm not mistaken, in New York. Any thoughts on this weekend's Gervonta and Lamont Roach card?
I can pick the low fruit on the tree and just say the guy lost to Jamal Herring. The fuck is he supposed to do to Gervonta Davis? Like if Davis loses this fight, you know what, dude? You're back. It's square one. No, Davis should win. He should win by knockout. I won't be surprised. You won't see me come on this show and go, "Oh my God, he just knocked out Lamont Roach." Come on. Davis has been through two lightweight runs, 4 champs, and hasn't faced fucking one of them. Yet we talk about this guy like he's the face of the lightweight division. He ain't shit, but a guy who's holding a belt hostage or holding a ranking hostage. Whatever he's doing, at some point, the fan base needs to ask him to fight someone. Yeah, I'm talking about fucking Haney, uh, Lomachenko, Telefimo, and who? Because it's not Garcia. Shakur. Because Ryan's not a champ in this division.
Nah.
Then it switches to fucking right now. Who do we have? We have Lomachenko.
Loma, yeah, I think Loma's still there. Well, Shakur is still there. He's a belt holder. I think Cepeda, I think is a belt holder.
Yeah, it's 4 new guys, bro, and it's like, what the fuck? When is anyone gonna ask this guy to take on one of the other champs? And those other names we let go were all legit stars. He didn't face one of them. He couldn't even face Loma, who's faced almost
Keyshawn Davis, who just won a belt.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying, bro? This is gonna be his second run of hell's all-star names, and you can't
roster of
a new roster, and you can't score shit. Get out of here! You're the fucking face. Get out of here! Get out of here! Who was the last guy? Mark Anthony. Who the fuck did 2 first names? Who did he just beat?
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin.
Shit.
Frank Martin and Roach.
Although Mark Anthony probably sounds a lot better. It's like Jeff Michael, something, George Michael.
That's the singer, huh? I just fucking said the
Close
singer's
enough.
name.
Because shit. That was funny. Two first names.
It's so yeah, no, man. No, it's time for someone to tell Davison, look, I know his Instagram does great. That's what I was looking at. His Instagram, he does great. The Facebook post for this fight got 1.8 thousand likes. 1.8 thousand. PBC, you got to do a better job. Now I don't know what their Instagram PBC numbers are doing, but their fucking their Facebook one wasn't looking too great today when they were announcing that fight it's fight week.
Mm-hmm.
You better hope that's not the buys. The people that are looking to buy this fight. I'm not buying it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. When His Excellency puts on a card, 5 fucking fights, all world title fights. Like I said, Miguel, there was so many good fights on that card. My son kind of got bored by the main event. He was kind of drained on the. It was kind of weird, but I let him go. I was like, go ahead. It's been a long day. we watched 4 fights and then the really the Madrimov and Ortiz was the main event for me. I loved Better Beav and Bivol, but I already knew the first fight wasn't that exciting. You know what I mean? The second one kind of didn't surprise me of what we were doing at the end there, counting punches. So for this one, I'm not buying. I'm over Lamont. I'm over fucking Tank. I'm over it. This is bullshit. The guy gets tattoos. He wears jewelry. He's hella hard. Bro, this dude has let hella people buy and hasn't faced fucking anyone. We sit here and act like he's a somebody. He's a nobody. Yeah, Gervonta Davis is a scrub until he fights someone with the name.
Yeah, he's essentially a paper champ. Really, he's just holding on to
Yes.
a belt, not fighting any of the champions. Um, $80 is how much his pay per view is. $79.99 on what PBC pay per view or Amazon Prime. I don't know who's gonna be wanting to fork up $80. I mean, look, credit to PBC. Whenever you watch these PBC fights, that the arena looks fucking packed. Either it's T-Mobile or somewhere. It looks like there's where they make a decent amount of money out of there. Whether or not it takes them out of the red, I don't know. But I don't know how it's gonna look now over there in Barclays Center. Yes, PBC is like synonymous for being over there in Brooklyn. So I assume it's going to do good, live gate wise. Pay per view, I doubt it. It's a decent card. That shit was for free on fucking HBO or some shit, or even Amazon, regular Amazon Prime, not pay per view. They're really pushing this Tank as a pay per view star on us, and they have been for some time already. We're not buying it, literally and figuratively. Not only we're not buying the shit, but we're not ordering the fucking pay per view for no $80. But we can talk about it next week because it's already this Saturday, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to catch it this weekend. I'm sure I will find my many
Yeah.
websites to catch it, and I will most definitely do that. But until then, we are going to call it a night. It is Tuesday night, and we got to get to work tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, for being patient with us because I was out of town, and we're able to get this show recorded on Tuesday evening. Make sure to catch the results for this weekend's PBC card if you can catch it, and we'll see what develops with everything else we talked about, specifically Benavidez and everything else. But thank you once more for joining us. You enjoy the rest of your work week. We will see you guys next weekend. Stay good. Peace.